Okay, so like I said earlier, the primary essence of every one of us in real estate is actually to make more sales on a daily basis. As a matter of fact, if you are currently making 5 sales per month, if you can make 10 sales per month, you will know that that's what growth is. But if you decide that you are comfortable making 5 sales consistently per month, you also need to understand that it's beyond wishes. All right. So in one of my trainings, I asked someone that made sales last in July, and I asked her, "What did you do to get the last sales you made?" And he said, I really don't know, but I was just posting, and someone recommended someone to me, and the person bought. And in essence, it just occurred to me that a whole lot of people are banking on miracles. And you see, in sales, miracles don't happen too often. Of course, there is a place of prayer in business sales, but at the same time, sales responds more to a system. So if you made 5 sales last month and you do not know the structure you put in place, the processes you went through to sell 5 sales, you cannot repeat it. All right. So until you're able to make repeated sales, that's the only way you are sure that you have a structured system. For tonight, we are going to be considering how to identify the right real estate audience. All right. How the right real estate audience works. Okay, how the right real estate audience work. So by and out, most of us have woken up to random actions. First of all, before I dive in better, I need you to understand that you are operating in an industry that has been referred to as special industry. I'm actually not the one that put that. So it's called special industry for a reason. All the media platforms that you are projecting with, the likes of Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube, and the rest of the platforms have identified real estate as a special industry. As a matter of fact, housing and mortgage and all of that are encompassed part of real estate. So they are categorized as special industry as such. So they actually expect you not to be selling real estate, not to be selling properties as though you are just promoting shoes, wristwatches, and other minor items that are want. All right. So in this case, how do we identify the right real estate sales audience? Are there categories? Are there systems? Are there a particular place they are? All right. So first and foremost, I need you to understand that there is a way you can actually project, and you are focusing on your target, on your competitors in your audience. So most of us have made these mistakes a couple of times in our effort on the internet, because we have been told to take advantage of social media, to be on YouTube, and to be on different platforms as well. And then we go on those platforms, and all the content we create are content that is supposed to be for our competitors. And when you realize that month in, month out, you do not have any traction, and you are wondering, but other people are having traction, why isn't it working for me? It's not working for you because we are not speaking to people who want to buy properties. You are actually projecting for the same audience that are also projecting to others who want to buy properties. And most times you realize that you make a post with your own picture, and then people comment, a lot of engagement, and then you make a post regarding your property sales, and you see that people don't even engage. Your platform became dried, no engagement of sorts. And then you keep wondering to yourself, what are you doing wrong? All right. So one of the things you are doing wrong is the fact that you have not identified as a real estate professional that social media used for lead still remains social media. All right. So pay attention. I have few slides to share important things to you that will guide you effectively in identifying and focusing on the right audience. Now, first and foremost, as a realtor, if you are using social media for leads generation and sales campaigns, one of the most asked questions that you probably also have that I've equally had has always been, how do I target the right audience so I can get my market share? So now let's start by letting you understand that in those platforms we have prospecting and we also have positioning. Okay, so audience defining and segmentation are an important part of these processes. You know, prospecting, according to Gartner, has so many elements. Likewise, positioning. Prospecting is more like you going after people whom you believe would have interest in what you do. While positioning is just simply you going to stay at a particular lane that you know that people who need what you do usually pass by that road. For instance, Google, they pass by Google every time to look for information. YouTube, they go out there to also search for how-to solution. All right, so you know that those are the platforms that these people pass through, and you can actually go and position. And you can say, I don't want to wait for them to pass by. I want to go after them and meet them wherever they are. So you can carry out prospecting. But in all of this, if you carry out prospecting without effectively segmenting your audience, defining and segmenting your audience, you are going to just go after random people that you assume are people who would buy your property. This is why most times you run ad for WhatsApp, you optimize your campaign for WhatsApp, and then you realize that so many people come to chat you on WhatsApp and then no conversion. So many people are clicking to your messenger and at the end of the day don't even respond further, and then or at most you get a lot of I will get back to you kind of responses, and you know that I will get back to you in Nigerian context is actually I am not interested. All right, so oftentimes Nigerians hardly are able to say no, so they use I will get back to you to release you. All right, so in prospecting and positioning, the primary important thing to understand is audience defining and segmentation. All right, that you have access to social media doesn't mean that those are the people that you need to talk to. All right, so I love Gartner, and if you've been in my training one of those times, I've referenced Gartner more than once. It's one of those I pick when it comes to defining prospecting. All right, Gartner has boldly defined prospecting in a way that I love it. And he said that prospecting is the first step of the sales process, all right, which involves identifying and contacting potential customers. Now, if you pay attention to that definition, you will see some elements integrated into it. Now, the first step of the sales process, you know, if you understand this, there is a marketing part and then there is sales part. This is why if you are the only one projecting, you don't have a sales person in your team, you are the marketer, you are the sales person, you need to understand how to separate yourself from the marketing part of you to the sales part of you, because as a marketer, you are allowed to actually be desperate. Desperate in getting leads, desperate in your marketing budget, desperate in making sure that you get the people in. But when it comes to sales, desperation is not permitted, because your audience would already understand your kind of projection. If you show any part of desperation, it will already send you out as one who is eager to earn. But in real estate, it is always about them. So although you are doing them a favor, but you have to project as though whatever you are doing there is about, I mean, is for them. All right. So desperation here, if you look at what Gartner says, it says though is the first step of the sales process. It involves you first and foremost identifying and contacting potential customers. Now, take note of those particular stage. Now, I said identifying. Now, when you identify, you go after them, contact, and then he said potential customers, not random people. You don't go after random people, but potential customer. Now, these are people you have already identified in your audience targeting, in your audience research, that they have the capacity. You know, I've always told some of us who have been a part of my session that interest means nothing without a buying capacity. For instance, if your property is worth 5 million naira, the minimum is 5 million naira, and you are targeting someone whose total money physically and in the bank is just 2 million naira, and you do not have payment plan, you already know that there is no amount of English he would speak that would enable him to transfer 5 million naira. So, as such, you need to not just identify and target random people, but potential customers. Potential customers are those who can afford your property. All right. And then he went further to say that the goal of prospecting is to create a database of likely customers. This is why most people don't actually grow in this industry, because they do not understand that follow up requires a structure. If you have been in my email list in the last few days, you've seen that the WhatsApp message you receive sounds personalized. But what I did there, those WhatsApp messages are broadcasts, but they are well personalized. It will quote your name individually. So to everyone, I send to over 1,000 people at a go, and the broadcast is going out from a system. This is one of the things you will learn in the bootcamp when we start on Saturday. The email comes out and it quotes your name as well. And if you take note of my emails, they are not salesy. I make a call to action towards the end of my email. I make sure that there is something I'm educating about before I apply a call to action to it. When I'm sending you a WhatsApp broadcast, I'm making it personalized. All right, so now I have created a database of likely customers. You are here in this particular session because you have interest in my training. Now, a database of these has been created for a purpose. So, in your marketing and sales processes, we have to intentionally segment these as well. There will be a place for your lead acquisition. There will be a place for your follow up system. Your follow up is not just in calls alone, but call is a priority. All right, now that you've understood what effective prospecting actually is, you understand that your effective prospecting will involve you identifying and contacting potential customers. Now, after you've done that, it will involve you creating a database for them. Now, look at this. Even if you are going to use your WhatsApp business, you know there is a particular platform in your WhatsApp My Business called Label. All right, so we have different categories of buyers. You cannot speak the same language to all of them, so you can segment them in your label. All right, this is how effective prospecting process begins. And now after that, I am actually going to plead with you that now that we have understood what effective prospecting entails, it involves you identifying and contacting potential customers and then creating a database for them. I want to plead with you in this particular class, please stop selling lands and building in your marketing communication. I know that actually sounds strange. Your business is real estate, right? And then it involves selling lands and it involves selling building. So why should I stop selling lands? Why should I stop selling building? All right, so in the next 4 weeks, when we start on Saturday, what we are going to be what we are going to be focused on would be how to practically implement everything that I'm going to be highlighting to you here. So, to avoid selling lands and building, it simply means that there is a strategy you need to adopt. Now, it says sell the values and the state of mind. Let me tell you something. Most of us have been opportune to hear about, maybe you were not involved in the scam, Ponzi platforms that scam people of their money and went. So if another one starts today, you'll be shocked to know that more people will still be involved in it. The reason is not because they are not educated, it's not because they are not wise, but because the Ponzi promoters understand what an average person with money is expecting. Three things an average person with money is expecting is capital protection. They want to be sure that for everything they are getting involved with, their capital is assured to be protected. And they want to be sure, they be assured that there is a place for cash flow assurance. And then they also want to be sure that there is a place for easily liquidated assets. Now, those three important things I've listed are what real estate guarantees. But guess what? You are only projecting lands and building. And then there is someone with 10 million naira. And a Ponzi platform comes and tells him, if you give me the 10 million naira, every month I will give you 30% of your capital to your account every month, and you can choose a threshold. You can either put the money with us for 6 months or put the money with us for 1 year, and at the end of the 1 year you can come and claim your capital from us. Now what they've done is that they've given him assurance of the capital protection that he can get back from them. And then they also assured him of easily liquidated assets. As long as you've chosen a threshold with us, we will give you back your capital. But if you run into an emergency and you still say you want to get back your capital, we will also give you, but we will charge you something in addition. And then every month we will also give you cash flow. They have been able to intentionally capture all their expectations, but you also have what they were projecting for the people. You have a land that every month it appreciates. There is no land that you buy today that remains the same the next 1 month. Something must have appreciated on it. The price must have been added. And then it must not be that the cash flow should be sent to the bank account. They want to be sure that this money is not affected by inflation. This money is not affected by it just not staying in the bank without bringing nothing. All right. So you have identified those three things, and then you now know that these people are not actually looking for realtors. They are looking for investment advisors who are majoring in real estate. And then, as such, it begins a transformative process in you to stop selling lands and building and begin to express the value expectations of their state of mind. I've just broken that to you. Understand the three key things that really interest them in every investment they are getting into. They want to buy land, but there's an expectation tied to it. Make sure that that is what you communicate, not just come and buy land, not just come and buy building. All right, are we still here? If you are here, please say something to me. I want to be sure I'm not talking too much.
Yeah,
Yes, yes, I'm here.
I'm here.
Yes,
Yes, we are here.
All right, all
follow
right,
you, bomba.
all right,
We're
all
here,
right.
we're here, we're here.
All right, welcome. Okay, so yeah, that's it. Please, as we go, stop selling land and building. Take note of that from now, and you'll be different. The 2% of the industry professionals who have identified this need and stopped projecting as land sellers have grown faster than those who are still selling lands. Of course, the end product is the property. All right, so yeah, we know that media buying for real estate is a very tricky thing. When we talk about media buying, we are talking about advertising. All right, media buying. I have a book titled Beyond Media Buying. I published that book in 2019. I usually don't use it for sales, but I think for everyone who joins the paid session from Friday, I should be able to give you a copy each as a benefit. I do that mostly as a gift to most of the participants. That book is titled Beyond Media Buying. Now, I explained a lot of the tricky part of media buying processes, most importantly for real estate. You see, people have been asking, should I leave it broad audience for those who understand Facebook, Instagram, and Google ads targeting? These are things we are going to do practically in the next 4 weeks. So, for those who understand this, you will need to understand that media buying for real estate is not the kind of digital marketing that people who sell shoes, and people who sell digital courses do. All right, real estate is an industry that operates on trusts. All right, first and foremost, they will judge your projection before you even acquire them into your lead. And it's usually a marketing strategy that people who are easily going to trust you must experience you. So you have to understand that you must not talk to everybody in your media buying processes. So we have buyers category in real estate. So it starts by your understanding of the buyers category, so that when you carry out your media buying journey, you will know that the people you should be talking to should not be the same. For instance, you cannot speak to the three categories of buyers with the same language because their thought frequencies are different. If you try to sell to all of them at the same time, you will end up not selling to any of them. So, first of all, who are the top categories of real estate buyers in Nigeria at the moment? These are the important knowledge we need to first have before we hit our system and begin our targeting processes, because it doesn't matter if you are doing the audience broad targeting or the detailed targeting, but you need to know who are there, where are they, what are their age range, what are their behaviors on the internet, what are their interests. All right, so now their category, the four categories of buyers actually builds up where it helps us to bridge the errors of audience targeting. All right, so I'm going to skip this particular stage because to most realtors and real estate professionals, real estate as a keyword is the primary thing that gets into their mind. And before I even highlight the audience targeting, if you ever run campaigns and then you go to the detailed targeting, and what you do is you add real estate as one of your behaviors or one of your interests at the detailed targeting area, please, I need you to stop immediately, because you are not selling to those who want to buy property. You are only pushing it to your competitors. They will click to come and see how your closing process is. If you've never been spied before, or if you've never spied your audience, I mean your competitor before, you need to know that most people do that to you. They will come to they will fill your form and see how your closing process is and see how you follow up so that they can learn from you. Most importantly, if you are vocal in the industry. So yes, real estate as a keyword is not for you if you are trying to sell property. People who buy property are not found with the keyword real estate. All right, so those are your competitors' behavior and interest on the internet, because they are the one projecting with that. Desist from using real estate as a keyword in your projection. All right, so yeah, um, the four, before I come back to this, let me list out the four categories of real estate buyers at the moment. Among these property buyers, I don't want you to sell to all of them. You cannot sell to all of them at the same time and succeed. We have three important categories at the moment, and they are the Nigerians in diaspora, the wealth preservers, and then we have the creative industry income earner. Now, let me explain to you one after the other. The Nigerians in diaspora are actually self explanatory. You know that since the beginning of this particular tenure, the exchange rate has been highly against Nigerians in Nigeria. As a matter of fact, I was paying for a course I think it was 2022 ending last quarter of 2022. I was paying for someone who wanted to do something abroad, and then we changed a dollar that particular time, and we realized that with 7 million we could actually, it was 2021, with 7 million we could actually exchange for almost $20,000. It was more than $15,000 as at the time. But then, as at today, with 7 million, I think it's just about $4,000 or thereabout. So you can see the huge difference that has occurred, and this tells you that Nigerians in diasporas are in a huge advantage at the moment. And I read a report from Nairametrics that says that more than 70 billion US dollars came into the country between 2022 and 2023 from Nigerians in diaspora. Now, what this is telling you that Nigerians in diaspora are a huge market, but guess what? Only a few percentage of Nigerian realtors are able to project and get them from where they are to sell properties to them. Because these people are not the everyday kind of people that you can easily run ads and reach. They are targeted strategically, they are targeted with a very unique approach. And then the wealth preservers are some of the Nigerian elites who have toiled, made money irrespective of the industry they were involved with. But now they understand that keeping money in the bank, these people are already educated when it comes to investment. They know that money doesn't, deserve to be in the bank because it does nothing there than depreciate through the inflation. So they want to be sure that their wealth is preserved. They already understand the real estate investment. All they are looking out for is not you coming to tell them about how rewarding real estate investment is. They are looking for someone who is at the same thought frequency with them. All right, these are the kind of people that most times you don't find them on the internet. You know, when we talk about digital prospecting, there is equally a traditional positioning. We have digital positioning and traditional positioning. Most of us have heard about Ikoyi Country Club, the Rotary Club of Nigeria, different golf clubs. We've heard about Lagos Country Club. We heard about Eco Club, Eagles Club, and the rest of them. You equally heard about Ohaneze Ndibo group. You've heard about different other groups like that. And then these are platforms where the wealth preservers are met. So if you decide to sell to the wealth preservers, you have to intentionally understand that you would go beyond digital prospecting to also getting yourself traditionally positioned. But guess what? When you are positioning traditionally, please, you are not going there to sell properties. This is actually one of the challenges people have, the desperation to sell when they join a group like that. When you join the group of elites, they identify people who come in there out of desperation. They would mark you and give you a distance. But when you are calm, relate as one who is equally at the same thought frequency with them, relate as one who also understand the game of the elites, you will not only have your way into their life, they will eventually come to you and have a conversation. Here, what do you do? And that's not a place where you say, I sell properties. I'm in the real estate industry. No. Most of us have ruined our chances based on how we introduced ourselves. If you are selling to the wealth preservers, your introduction alone will determine if they will have further conversation with you or not. You are not a realtor when you are selling to the wealth preservers. You are not a land seller when you're selling to the wealth preservers. It can be as simple as, oh, you already know my name, sir. My name is Timothy, and I actually help people like you to preserve wealth. I'm an investment advisor majoring in real estate. I actually help people identify property that would give them maximum investment reward. Most importantly, location analysis, the growth metrics, and then I make sure that your investment is guaranteed in massive reward based on the market projection. I give market insight on a weekly basis, and then already your introduction has sold you to him as one who understands the industry deeper. Unlike others who would just come and say, I sell land, I sell properties. I'm a realtor, I sell properties in Lagos and in Abuja. So now it would say, oh, that's interesting. I've been looking for someone who could guide me in my next real estate portfolio. Yeah, I have some though, but I'm planning to increase my portfolio and Probably move into commercial property investment. We'll have to talk. He said, yeah. You let him understand that you know the importance of property, I mean, commercial property investment. You say, yeah, commercial property investment is very important in today's era. You've heard about the strikes of Airbnb, and then it's been replicated in Nigeria by so many people. Commercial property are so many, there are different aspects of it. We have the hotel, we have the short let apartment, we have the hostel, we have the buy to let. Although I have a reservation on the on the build to let. I have a reservation on that. If I am to be your investment advisor in real estate, I will actually put all of this in clear analysis and let you understand the most rewarding aspect of commercial property investment for you. Even in private property investment, you also shouldn't do it based on emotion. There are so many key factors that must be considered before you tilt towards that area. Look at this. All of this has already projected you to the wealth preserver as one who is very sound in the industry, not one who is just there for survival purposes. There are people who are just trying to sell for survival, and there are people who are there as a serious business. So, if you're going to be selling to the wealth preservers, prepare yourself deeply to make sure that your knowledge in the industry is equally up to their class. It's more like Rolls Royce sellers. They have the market on its own. This category of people, money is not the problem. So these are the people you know that they have the capacity. The only thing you need to do is that, can they trust you? Have you built a brand that is perceived as though it is as the same class with them? Because there is classism in this category. All right, they would not buy from someone who is asking for 100 million for a property looking like someone who hasn't seen 5 million before. They wouldn't do that. So you have to be very intentional about your projection. And here, pity party doesn't work. There is no pity party in this. It's either you are qualified or you are not. It is your knowledge, your projection, and your courage that will sell you through this. Access has to be granted before you sell to them. So that's the primary thing here. And then the Nigerians in diaspora already see you as a suspect. Before you reach out to them, you're already being perceived as a suspect. Not because they hate you, but because it's part of the things, part of the experiences they've had. All right, most of the Nigerians in diasporas have lost money through family or friends who actually convinced them to invest in properties and came back and couldn't find the property. So, first of all, they have questions. Now, there are something called frequently asked questions. You should be able to assume some of these questions and bring them answers before they ask. You should be able to keep answers to them. For instance, they have issue about document verification. You should give them answers before they ask. This is why when I said don't sell land, you should start communicating values. Projecting with that requires educational based strategy. So now if you use educational based strategy to handle all the fears of Nigerians in diaspora, all their worries, all right, all the questions they have, it's more like a prophet telling you your life history and then asking you to see them. You will believe him because he has told you exactly what have been bothering you. So do the same thing. Come up with, first of all, analyzing what you know has been bothering them, all their fears. Handle all of that before you raise any call to action. And they will trust you faster than those who are asking them, this location is a prime location. If you miss this location, you are going to regret. That's actually not the marketing strategy. First thing you need to do, why is this location a prime location? Why would I regret not buying from this location in another few years? Sounding like a motivational speaker will not give you sales. In real estate, data is more important. Most times realtors don't understand the importance of data. For instance, before you sell any property, know how much was the launch price, know how many percentage has been added in the next 6 months and in the next 1 year if the property has been in sales for 1 year. Now calculate it for monthly increase. All right, let them understand the percentage appreciation on the monthly level. So it has, you have to be able to understand property metrics, appreciation, the pace of appreciation. All right, and you have to be able to analyze all of this as a professional, not someone who comes to tell motivation. Yesterday they asked you to buy aja and you said aja was bush. You said Ekpe was bush. Today there is no land in aja, there is no land in Ekpe. No, those are not marketing strategies. Sit back and give data backed marketing communication. Now these are more like strategy session that we are having here. In our practical session from Saturday, in the paid sessions, I will be giving you some of these already documented write-ups for you to guide you in the process. All right, so the last category here is the creative industry income earners. Now this category, if you ever decide to sell to them, you are going to have a bit of task to do, because this category don't want to buy properties. These are the easy money makers. You've heard about the crypto guys, you've heard about the content creators, you've heard about the digital income earners and all. So these guys are those I call the easy money makers. All right. Now you've also heard in news that there are people who pay for bands, and in fact they do easy buy with bands. They do payment plan. So instead of doing payment plans with property, they would rather go and make deposit for banks and stretch the balance for 24 months or 12 months. And then they will come and celebrate the bench. So they buy based on their emotional excitement. Until you are able to capture their emotional excitement, you won't be able to sell to this category of people. So if you're going to be creating content for this category of people, you have to understand their thought frequency. I actually bisect, I have creative strategies to sell to them separately. But let me just share a few with you. You see, for some of us here present, we've heard about Zylox, and you may even be selling for Zylox. I do make reference to this because I've actually used that particular strategy to consult for a company. There's a particular location Zilog started, and it was called Tiwa Gardens. I think they have more than phase one. They have phase two as well, and there is a strategy they use there. The name of the estate alone captured a top celebrity, and then they realized that they wanted to sell to a particular category of buyers. Reason is that they have already known that the people with money are these people at the moment. Content creators are making a whole lot of money from it. The creative industry people are making a whole lot of money from it. The tech guys and all. So they needed to capture a certain categories of the industry. So they brought up an ambassador, AY. And AY just made a few statements. Hey guys, I just got my allocation. Come grab your plot here. Let's make Tiwa Gardens the next entertainment hub in Africa. Come be my neighbor. And you know that AY is an idol in the industry. So a lot of people are looking up to him. And most of the content creators in Nigeria have already called themselves comedians. Of course, you must not be a comedian to be a content creator, but most of them feel that as long as you're a content creator, you must be a comedian, you must make someone laugh. Now, I'm telling you this that as a realtor, as a real estate professional, you are also a content creator. All right, what you need to consistently project is that you must come up daily with your penetrative content strategy in your business analysis. All right, in your marketing analysis and this. All right, so yeah, that's for the creative industry income earners. All right, so now positioning is also a very tricky thing beyond the prospecting. Understanding the essence of digital positioning and why you need a certain channel to do so is very important. All right. On it, you can actually project with random audience. All right, you can't project with random audience mindset. From what we have actually highlighted, you need to know which of these categories of buyers am I going to be projecting as. Which of these categories of buyers am I going to be projecting as? All right, so having done that, you must also stop every assumption. All right, so when you understand who your buyers, who your property buyers are, you will know where they are. Now, imagine Nigerians in diaspora now. You already know where these people are. Imagine the wealth preservers now. You already know who they are. You know where they are. You know how to get them. You know where to get them. So now the next question will be, how do I get them? Using the digital media or using the traditional media. All right. Now there is something you need to know before you go get them. All right. Before you go get them, first of all, get into the same thought frequency with your prospects. All right, get into the same thought frequency with your prospects. It's a scientific way of establishing connection. All right, let me tell you this. Real estate is not about selling of land. I think I started by telling you that, and building. It's mostly about growth projection. Take note of this: capital protection, cash flow assurance, and easily liquidated assets. Now, when you are able to think in line with your prospect, you know that I've already told you. Imagine telling the wealth preserver that you have a payment plan, you've already lost them. I've told you that to those people, money is not the problem. The major problem they have is, are you qualified to talk to them about investment opportunity? Do you even understand the subject you are trying to talk to them about? Those are their major concern. So, for the Nigerians in diaspora, rather, for the Nigerians in diaspora, their thought frequency is simple. Are you able to protect me and my investments? So what they are looking out for is a company who has a reputation, people they can identify when they are looking for them. When they come back to Nigeria, where do I meet you? You're asking me to send you money from abroad. When I come back to Nigeria, where do I meet you to get my document? How do I get my property document? How do I identify my property when I get back? How do I get my property allocation? How am I sure this property investment is genuine? These are their thought patterns. You must be able to get at the same thought frequency with them before you sell property. Forget about sounding buy this location now, buy this location now. The first thing is, are you able to stay and address these concerns that I have? Those are their concerns. The creative industry income earners is, can you give me something that will boost my ego? In your marketing communication, am I able, how can I would I be able to snap on the dry land and say, oh my guys, I just got my a new plot? You need to give me something that will make me feel boosted mentally to be able to celebrate it on the internet, because to them it's about showbiz. It's about showcasing every of their win. That's why you see them, they can buy 3 to 2 cars in a year. The reason is that they want to project it to you. They want to always make sure that you see that they are growing, they are making something. That's a moment. Their thought frequency is different. Don't just sell because you have access to the internet. Understand who you are talking to part time. All right. And then we have how you can avoid targeting your competitors. In all of this, when you are carrying out your paid campaign, please remove everything that has to do with real estate. Every keyword that has to do with real estate are tilting towards your competitor. For instance, real estate, if you put real estate professional, real estate investments, those are behaviors of your competitors. Those are interests of your competitors. So what will happen is that if you are running the campaign on Facebook or Instagram, the meta algorithm will help you identify people who have consistently talked about that particular industry. And you know that the people you are targeting are not consistent echoers. They don't consistently echo about the industry. They they are out there doing something different, but also are making real estate investments. You are looking for people who have buying capacity, you already know that for every of these buying capacities that they have, two things are peculiar to them. Of all, of, they know that of all the money, all right, so then they know that of all the money they make, the end point is always investing in something tangible. And globally, real estate is that tangible thing that they put their money to. All right, so now in your projection, make sure that you don't be like everyone. Imagine everyone here, about 18 of us here or more, are actually talking to one person about property investment. We are targeting a particular audience, and then you want the person to consider you, and you are saying exactly the same thing like everyone else. You know that that won't work. In all of this, create exclusive brand activation and communication to your audience. Be exclusive, be different. Don't just do like everyone else. If everyone is creating come and buy content, create educational based content, create a routine show about real estate. It can be real estate market insights. Create something that gives the audience that different feel in your image, in your projection. All right. And then don't also forget that when you have gotten to all of this projection and you have gotten a lead, closing is not just about your feeling. Closing is a system. But unfortunately, we'll not be able to talk about the closing system today, because it's not something that we can do in few minutes. This is why I don't do a 1 day boot camp. The 4 weeks bootcamp that we are having starting on Saturday will address a whole lot of practical things: Google ads, Facebook ads, Instagram ads, and all the strategies needed, sales closing processes, the objections in your sales closing. All right, because those are more important things that keep people away from eventually succeeding in selling. Those objections. All right, and I want to also invite you to the next to our boot camp, our 4 weeks boot camp starting from this Saturday, the 9th. For those that have paid already, congratulations. But if you've not paid and you want to join, you can just go to marketinglabhq.ng /RET 24 thanks, and you can have different options there. Yeah, go ahead.